Hi, good afternoon, Angie. How are you today?
I am well. How about yourself?
Very well,
Good.
too. So I'm so excited to talk to you, especially about this position. We've worked together before. You've done a temp assignment for me over at a very large top employer here in Volusia County, and they adored you. So we are thrilled to be able to represent you now in your actual field of work, which is HR. So why don't you tell me a little bit about your HR experience and some of the job duties that you've done in your past jobs?
Sure, I've done about a little bit of everything. If we talk about specialties and what I do best, I find gaps. Believe it or not, I can look at a policy, a procedure, and once I've done the procedure, obviously, and I can find gaps in it. And I often can take those gaps and say, "Hey, Miss Supervisor, I see an area of opportunity here that could get us sued, or that would be better suited for the employer," whatever that case may be. So I have a keen eye for the detail of policies, procedures, and processes. Done payroll for many years. Have had experience in ADP, Paylocity, Paychecks. I'm sure there's another one. I just can't think of it right now. I have found that if you've been in one, you've been in them all, as long as you kind of know your way around. For payroll, you might need a little bit of guidance from the payroll company just to see how they do it. But other than that, it kind of flows pretty easy. I am good at, in the HRIS system, seeing gaps in there as well, such as your I-9 is missing, your this is missing. We need updates on these things. Be very detail oriented in that I like my HRIS system perfect. I don't want anything missing. And if it is, I'm going to find it. I'm going to hunt you down and make you sign it so that we have all of our legalities in place. And that includes, if the company needs your college degree, say, and it's missing, I'm going to figure that out, and I'm going to hunt you down and ask you if I can have that so that we don't get dinged on any kind of an audit. So that's kind of me in a nutshell.
Okay, great. So this particular job is going to be doing a lot of recruitment and some onboarding. So you're going to be facilitating new hire onboarding, in the orientation programs and such. That is something you did at all of your other jobs, or what did you do? Okay, perfect.
All of them, yes.
And then employee relations also is going to be a very important part of this. So promoting that positive workplace environment, working with the birthdays, the anniversaries, all the fun stuff, from parties, and of course, any concerns and workplace issues. Can you tell me about a time that you had to resolve a workplace issue and how you did that? Maybe like a true employee relations subject that came up.
Oh, there are so many, it's hard to pick one.
We can come back to it if you need to.
Well, I had a severe one dealing with a gun on property.
Okay, tell me about that.
Yeah, so I had an employee run into my office screaming, crying that she was being threatened with a gun. She was very, very distraught, very upset. I got her statement and her witness that she brought with her. Got those statements as she requested to be off property. So I very graciously let her go home so that we could do an investigation where she felt safer. So she went home, and then I jumped into the investigation on what happened. Did speak to the gentleman. Unfortunately, he saw this as a joke, and it's not a joke. And so I immediately put him on suspension because I did have the power to do so at that location. Temporary suspension until I could reach out, because I did not want him on property with a gun in his car. He actually showed me the gun that he used and what he had done. And granted, what he did was could have been considered play. But you don't play with guns, especially on company property. And that is actually where it happened. So long story short, I contacted my supervisors who made the final decision, but I already had all of my witnesses. I talked to all of them, had statements, turned them in, and immediately fired him.
Gotcha. So when the gun was reported on property, so it was out in his car.
It was in his car.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. So in addition, now obviously that is not something that's happened more and more. So I've been hearing about that. And it's tricky because your car technically is your personal place, and if it's not in the building, that is tricky. So how do you keep up with laws, like updates like that, like what that looks like?
Well, SHRM is a number one place to look, right?
Perfect.
But it's not the only one.
Okay.
There are other places to go and look, but SHRM is the first place I go look because they're going to have the most up to date, as you know.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, we already talked about payroll. You're going to be doing a lot of compliance as well, and records management, like managing, PTO time approved and, time off that's not approved. And in addition, some training and development, for the team, the, programs that they're going to be doing, any, updating of policies, procedures, and employee communications. Have you done any of that before in some of your previous roles? And maybe can you share an achievement that you had maybe with a training program or a new policy or procedure?
Well, yes, I have experience doing that. And my way of keeping track of that is usually my HRIS system. So to kind of keep track of that, you plug in that your SHRM certificate expires on blah, blah, blah date. So then on that, around a month before that, it will send me a ping that Danielle's SHRM is due. So then I'm going to remind you, we're going to have that conversation. Now, obviously, SHRM isn't something that this company is responsible for, but that's how I have done it in the past. I was substituted in the medical field for a short time. And so those nursing certifications and their training, their CEUs had to be, it was meticulous. You had to have it, and you had to have it by a certain, or they couldn't work. So I learned to be very meticulous in keeping track with training. And if that's a training that I'm responsible for, then I'm going to have that set up ahead of time. You're going to know that on such and such date, Angie's got your training scheduled for this, whether it's computer or me doing it or what have you. Okay. And then what was the other question? I'm sorry.
So it was about like something that you were proud of, like any new processes that you implemented, maybe that saved the company money or increased the team morale, team spirit, or something like that.
One of the things that I'm most proud of, and it's not the whole team, but your managers are important, and keeping them happy, keeping them compliant is important. So one of the things that I did at one of my employers was I was seeing by sitting in on their interviews that it was very haphazard. Not everybody got the same questions, but it's the same role. I believe that for the same role, everyone should be asked the same questions and given the same equal opportunity, fair and equal across the board. We were not doing that. And it wasn't on purpose. They just didn't know how to do it. So I implemented, it took me a while, but I found out all the department needs, what they really want to ask. And I built questionnaires along with a scoring system. So no longer is Danielle just a name. I want to know, how did Danielle score? And if Danielle scored a 52, why are you trying to hire this person that's at 30? So, and it all tied to the HRIS system. So if you got hired, it went with you. You didn't see it, but us as managers, it was blocked to the employee, but us as managers could go back and go, why did we hire them? Well, those papers aren't always in your file. Sometimes as managers, we throw those away. I kept them. I made them go into the system. So if we ever had to go back and find out what they said about this, or found out that maybe they lied about their experience and now we have an issue, right? I have all of that. So that was one of the things, and they were really happy with it. They saw the flow. Along with that, I was allowed to, it's kind of tied together, I was allowed to purchase a hiring program. It was called Applicant Stack. And I was able to give each of my directors a license. So I wasn't just the only one seeing the applicants. I was able to push them to them to be able to push back and say yes or no, and they could follow. So when you saw all of that and then saw the record sitting in the file, it just made life so much easier.
Absolutely. Great answer. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and stop this part of the interview, but don't go anywhere because we've got a few more things to chat about.
All right.
Stop this part. I think I'm going to stop it. There we are. Okay.